My girlfriend's brothers tried to destroy our relationship, and I couldn't be more grateful. I knew dating Rachel meant getting past her 3 older brothers, but I had no idea they'd turned protecting her into a military operation. She'd been with a guy named Jeff for 2 years, and he'd broken her jaw when she tried to leave him. So now her brothers treated every man who looked at her like a potential threat. The first time I picked her up for dinner, her oldest brother answered the door holding a baseball bat like he was stepping up to home plate. The middle brother stood behind him, cracking his knuckles, while the youngest just stared at me, taking photos with his phone, probably for some criminal database they were building. Rachel pushed past them, looking mortified, but I caught the oldest one mouthing, "We're watching you," as we walked to my car. They threw literally everything at me to see if I'd crack or run away screaming. Every restaurant we went to, somehow one brother would already be there pretending to read a menu upside down while photographing my every move. During our 3rd date, the youngest brother actually sat down at our table uninvited and said, "So, what exactly are your intentions with our sister? Because we've got shovels and we know how to use them." Instead of getting angry, I looked him straight in the eye and said, "My intention is to never give you a reason to use them," which made him blink first. They ran background checks and left the results on my windshield with certain things circled in red marker like a teacher grading papers. The middle brother created a fake Instagram profile as a woman named Jessica and sent me messages trying to get me to cheat, but I just screenshot everything and sent them to Rachel saying, "Your brother needs to work on his catfishing skills because Jessica types exactly like him." When they followed us to the movies, I bought them popcorn and had the usher deliver it to their seats with a note saying, "Next time just join us," instead of lurking, which actually made the youngest one laugh. I started leaving gift cards for coffee on their trucks when I spotted them tailing us with notes like, "Stalking must be exhausting, so caffeine's on me," and eventually the oldest brother actually used one. The breakthrough came when I showed up at their mother's birthday dinner, even though Rachel warned me they'd told me the wrong time on purpose. I arrived 3 hours early with flowers for their mom and helped her cook, while she told me embarrassing stories about all 4 of her kids. By the time everyone else arrived, I was wearing her apron and knew about the time the oldest brother cried watching The Lion King at age 16. He pulled me aside later and said, "That was sneaky as hell," but he was almost smiling when he said it. After 2 months of this dance where I matched every test with patience and humor, the middle brother finally asked me directly, "Why haven't you given up yet? We've broken 7 guys before you." I told him the truth that Rachel was worth whatever bizarre hazing ritual they needed to put me through. The real test came during Rachel's company holiday party when I stepped outside for air and found all 3 brothers waiting by my car. The oldest one stepped forward and said, "She's getting attached, and we need to know if you're going to hurt her." Before I could answer, we heard Rachel scream from the parking garage and saw her backing away from a man I recognized from photos as Jeff, who'd been released early for good behavior. Her brothers froze, but I shoved past them and put myself between Jeff and Rachel. Jeff laughed and said, "Who's this clown supposed to be?" And I said, "Someone who's not afraid of you," even though my hands were shaking. When he swung at me, I didn't dodge because backing up would have put him closer to Rachel, so I took the hit and kept standing. The brothers jumped in then, pulling him down while I held Rachel behind me, blood running from my nose but still standing between her and him until the cops arrived. After that night, the whole dynamic shifted like someone had rewritten all the rules overnight. The oldest brother started inviting me to watch fights, and between rounds he'd teach me defensive moves, saying, "You've got heart, but your technique needs work if you're going to keep standing guard." The middle brother helped me fix my car when it broke down and spent 3 hours explaining exactly how Jeff had manipulated Rachel so I'd recognize the signs if anyone tried to hurt her again. The youngest sent me funny videos, but also articles about trauma recovery with notes like, "Thought you should understand what she's still working through." They included me in planning Rachel's birthday, keeping it secret for weeks, and trusting me to pick up the cake without supervision, which felt like passing some final exam I didn't know I was taking. When I asked Rachel to move in with me, I told her brothers first, not asking permission but showing respect, and the oldest one said, "About damn time. Mom already considers you her 4th son anyway."